Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Black Knitter. I'm Liz, The Black Knitter. If this is your first time here, I'm glad that you found me, and thanks for sticking around. If you are a repeat viewer and subscriber, I really appreciate your support of this knitting podcast. On this channel, we do a lot of things. We talk about knitting, of course, because I'm primarily a knitter. But we also talk about things related to race and things related to the church. I am a sociologist. I have a PhD in sociology, and much of my work focuses on how race impacts the lived experience of people. I am also a certified lay minister in the United Methodist Church. That means I'm a lay person, not a clergy person, but a lay person who can assist the church in ministry. So sometimes that means that I preach, but mostly for me, it means that I teach Bible study and Sunday school, which I love to do because I'm a teacher. That's what I like to do. And educate people on how race and other isms show up in our religious practice. So I hope you stick around. You will learn something, I hope. We're all about beloved community here. So I like to call people in to conversation on these topics, as opposed to calling people out. This is a space where everybody can belong and we can engage in dialogue about difference, not debate. So welcome, everyone. So the first thing that I like to do is habari gani. That's Swahili for what's happening or what's up. I have not been doing a whole lot exciting since the last episode. It's only been a few weeks since the last one. I think the last one was at the end of January, right before the Black History Make-Along began. So I've just been doing a little knitting, doing a lot of working. That's really it. Nothing exciting to report. What else can I tell you? That's really it. I don't really have any updates. I can tell you that the Black History Make-Along is still going. It ends on February 28th, which is the last day of Black History Month. I'll give people until March 1st to get any posts done on the Ravelry group or in the Discord server to qualify for prizes. And you can look at last month's episode if you want to see what some of the prizes are, but we'll have some yarn to give away. I've got a kit to give away. Exciting stuff. So if you haven't entered the MAL yet, it's not too late. You can enter on the very last day and it'll still be good because you don't have to finish a project. You just have to cast on a project. So I hope that you will do that. If you don't follow me on Instagram, hop over. I'll provide my Instagram in the description box. But I try to post there, share information about Black makers. So use my Instagram as a resource. I also have a bundle on Ravelry of Black knitwear designers and dyers if they are on Instagram or on Ravelry. So check that out if Ravelry is accessible to you. That's another good resource. And if you want to join the Discord server, you can do so by sending me a message on Instagram, and I will send you the link. We want to make sure that continues to be a safe space for folks. So I really control membership of that group. So just reach out to me, and I am happy to share the link. Okay, I think that is it. The other thing I wanted to say is the one thing that I've been doing since the last episode is I've been reading a book called The Black Angels. And it's about Black nurses who were involved in developing a cure for tuberculosis. It's really good. So check that out if you get a chance. My husband got it for me for Christmas, and it's really good. Okay. The next thing I like to do is Elimu, which is Swahili for education. And I wanted to talk about the red hat, because the red hat keeps coming across my Instagram feed in a number of different ways. And it's got me thinking about discomfort. You have probably heard some controversy about the red hat, which is the melt the ice hat that a lot of people have been making. It has raised a lot of money for aid groups that are assisting people that are impacted by the ice activity. But I wanted to talk about it because it really does have me thinking about discomfort. And I'm going to get to that, but let me talk for a minute about what this controversy is. And I describe it as a controversy because that's how a lot of people in the white community see it, as a controversy. It really isn't a controversy, but it's related to discomfort. And again, I'll get to the discomfort piece of it, but the controversy is that some Black women in the making community have described the making and wearing of the melt the ice hat as performative, meaning people are just wearing it and not really doing anything beyond that. So they have critiqued it as performative. They've critiqued it as virtue signaling, with really no real commitment to fighting fascism, to fighting anti-Black racism. And as a result of that critique, which I will say is valid, these Black women have been attacked by white people who have embraced the red hat as a legitimate way to combat fascism. And that is also a valid claim. It is a legitimate way to combat fascism. And we can hold both of these views, both that it's performative or virtue signaling, which is not enough. And it's also a legitimate way to fight fascism. We can hold both of those things to be true at the same time. It's not an either or kind of situation. Most things aren't an either or situation, right? And so we have to think about how is it that we can hold both of those things to be true at the same time. Now, what I have said before on both my social media and this podcast is that we aren't all in the same place in terms of our understanding of fascism, our understanding of racism in this country. We're all entering this space at different levels of awareness. And we bring to it different experiences. And those things are going to have an impact on where we enter this work of beloved community, this work of anti-fascism and anti-racism. So, if you're entering this at a level of all you can see right now in front of you to do is to make and wear a hat, then do that. But after you make that hat, take another step. That's the critique. Read a book. Listen to Black people. Listen to the critique of the red hat. Don't dismiss it. Don't attack Black people for their critique because, like I said, it is a valid critique. Don't shut down those claims. What happens too often is that when Black voices critique the actions of whites, white people go on the defensive, so much so that they often expel those voices. They take them out of the conversation. The critique makes some white people so uncomfortable that they push that critique aside. They exclude those voices. And they do that so that they don't have to feel uncomfortable anymore. Because the critique makes them feel uncomfortable about the actions that they are taking or the things that they are engaged in. But here's the thing. In that space of discomfort is where growth happens. And if you don't wrestle with that discomfort, you then don't try to understand why you're experiencing it. You stay stuck in the same place, and what you do ends up just being performative because you aren't doing anything else. And the reason that isn't good is because in order for change to happen, we need all of us to engage in actions that will make a real difference in dismantling systems of oppression. We can't do that if we aren't willing to look at how our current behaviors are contributing to those systems. So I need you to do something. I need you to lean into your discomfort. Your discomfort is a signal that you're confronting what those in power don't want you to confront. You are literally waking up to how systems of power and privilege have conditioned you to ignore oppression. That's why the far right has turned being woke into a bad thing. They don't want you to see. That's why they're banning books. They don't want you to learn. And we have to do this because Dr. King said that a necessary condition of a beloved community is a commitment to truth and transparency. That means that we talk to and we listen to each other in love. And we commit to working through the conflicts or the pain that those truths reveal. That's not easy work, friends, but it's necessary work if we want to live in a world where everyone belongs. So I want to challenge you that if you haven't done this already, that you will start this work by trying to understand the Black critique of the red hat. A really good source for that is a podcast by Dr. Lisa Woolfork. Her podcast is called Stitch Please. It's a great podcast. I will link it below. It's her episode on this topic is only about 20 minutes. And, she's a professor like me, so she's a teacher. And her explanation, her critique of the Red Hat movement is a really, really good, it's a really good one. And you will learn a lot by listening to that. Another thing that you can do is read a book on white people and that feeling of discomfort. Is actually called White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo, who is also, I think she's a professor of sociology. Really good book that's really easy to understand. And you can also check out some of my other episodes for book recommendations. But if you're interested in learning, for example, because we do talk about the church on this podcast as well. But if you're interested in learning more about Christian nationalism, for example, a really good book on the history of the white church in particular is called White Too Long. It's by Robert P. Jones, who used to work, I think, for the Pew Research Institute. So a PhD trained researcher. That's a really, really good book. And, if you want a good resource for books that have been banned, because like I said, that's one of the strategies for keeping us from waking up to these issues. Follow Banned Book Society on Instagram. That's a really good kind of starting point for a reading list. So I hope that you will accept that challenge, that you will share this podcast with folks who need to hear this message, particularly knitters and crocheters that you might know who have really struggled with the critique of the Red Hat effort, which the last I heard is very close, or they may have at this point reached $1 million in fundraising. So that's great. Like I said, it's not bad, but we need to do more. We need to do more than make and wear a red hat. All right. I've changed my angle a little bit so that we can jump into some knitting content. So this is the Kuumba portion of the podcast. Kuumba is creativity in Swahili. And so I'm going to talk about some of my knitting that I've been doing. I have been really focused on just a couple of projects, so I don't have a lot. But I wanted to start with a finished object because I did finish something. The sweater is done. Isn't it cute? So this is the Mom's Hug sweater. And I will link it below as I have in previous podcasts. This is a baby sweater. One of the young people at work is having a baby, so I decided to make a sweater. So I've already blocked it. I still need to put buttons on. I'm going to go get some buttons later today. So I'll post some pictures on Instagram once it has buttons, but it's really cute. I really enjoyed this pattern. It's really straightforward. It's worked from the top down. So yeah, really straightforward, and just really cute. So I'm really happy with that. It's just really cute. I will definitely be making more of these for baby gifts in the future. So really happy with that sweater. Okay, so that pattern is $6.73 on Ravelry. And the yarn I used is 100% acrylic. I do all my baby stuff in acrylic just because it's easy to care for. But this is Hayfield Bonus DK in the colorway Chocolate. Really, really pretty. Great yarn to knit with, and not very expensive either. All right, so I have a couple of whips that you have seen, but making really good progress on them. So the first one is the Autumn Alpine that I am making for my daughter. I talked to her last night on the phone. I keep sending her progress pictures. She's really excited to get it. But I am down to the second sleeve. So I started the second sleeve just last night. So I've only done a couple of rows there. But, you know, the body is done. And this sleeve is done. So there's the cuff. It's flaring out a little bit because I did a extra stretchy bind off. I didn't want it to be too loose. She's really into the kind of slouchy sweater look. So I am really excited to finish this. So I'm hoping that in the next week, I'll be able to get it done. And I'm hoping that this color work blocks out really nicely and that the collar blocks out. Okay, I've talked about my issue with the collar before, but the shape is just kind of wonky. I don't know. So we'll see how it blocks out. My daughter is like, just send it when it's done. She doesn't want me to try to do anything to monkey with it, but we'll see. But yeah, it's really nice. I've talked about this yarn before. It is Jill Draper's Mohonk, which is 100% lamb's wool. It feels really nice. It's very sheepy in that I've been picking out a lot of hay from the yarn as I knit, which is fine. It just reminds me, you know, it's a really good reminder that this is a gift from an animal. And I am very grateful for that gift. The main color is called Antique Gold. And then the blue is Inky, I-N-K-Y. And so far, I am, the yardage requirement in the pattern is pretty accurate because I have just enough yarn. So I have, let me show you. So I started like I said, I started the second sleeve last night. This is, I got, I think 5 skeins of the antique gold. So this is the 4th skein. That's how much I have left. So I have 1 more skein left to finish the sleeve. And I have just enough of the Inky to do the cuff details. So yeah, so the yardage requirement in the pattern is really accurate. If you want to make a really big swatch, I would get extra yardage for sure, to make sure that you have enough. But this is, I love this pattern so much. I definitely want to make one of these for myself at some point, just because I have loved the pattern. This yarn, I definitely want to get more of this yarn because it's just fantastic. I bought it at For You in Oberlin, which you've heard me talk about before. It's a Black-owned yarn shop in Oberlin, right across the street from Oberlin College. That has been great. That's a great place to purchase from if you haven't gotten your Black History Month stuff yet, because it's a Black-owned shop. Purchases that you make there count as an entry into the make-along. So definitely check out For You. That shop will be linked below as well. I will link the Autumn Alpine pattern as well. That's by Boyland Knits, which is Caitlin Hunter. That pattern is $9. Very well written, lots of detail, and really, really, really good pattern. And like I said, I will be making it again because it's really good. All right, my other whip is the featured Black History Month pattern with the Black History Month yarn that Cindy at 1918 Yarn Company and I collaborated on. And this is a pattern that I have made before and was really happy to knit again. I was thinking that I was gonna give this to my mom when I was done because she is a retired nurse. She's got a lot of stuff from me, including a number of hats from that were Fatima's patterns because I love her hats. This is telling me that it needs to go to a friend of mine who is actually a dean of a college of nursing. So I'm gonna gift it to her actually. So this is the Weak Moral Fiber Shawl pattern by Disturbing the Fleece. And it is in the colorway Aline Cole Stewart, which is the Black History Month colorway developed by Cindy at 1918 Yarn Co. and I. This is the third or fourth year that we've done a colorway or collaborated on a colorway for Black History Month. So this is it so far. Isn't it cool? So this colorway, I'm going to hold it a little closer to the camera here. It is mainly white, but it has brown for Black women. It's white because that's the traditional color of the nursing uniform. And it's got red and blue in it because that represents the color, the additional colors in the Army Nurse Corps uniform. They had capes that were blue and lined in red that were very sharp. That's why the colors are in here that we chose for this particular colorway. This pattern is really, really nice knitting. It's got a memorable pattern. I've been working on this a lot during my lunch break at work because I can, put on a book to listen to. I've been listening to, like I said, the Black Angels, which is really appropriate given the topic of that book and the Black woman that's being honored by this colorway. So it's just been really nice to work on this. I made one mistake, and I'm not going to fix it because I'm not a believer in fixing mistakes in knitting unless it's just really, really bad. But I got off on my stitch count here. So I've got a little jog over in the eyelet there. It's not that noticeable. The person I'm giving it to is not a knitter. I don't think they're gonna notice it. But I noticed it. Yeah, but I'm not gonna fix it. It's fine. It's not affecting the shape at all. But this pattern, y'all, it's a nice one skein with a couple of minis kind of knit. So if you got one of those really special skeins that you've been saving, this is a really great pattern to use it for, because the stitch pattern will really show off that yarn. So highly recommend it. I haven't got to the section where you add the minis. I'm almost there, but not quite. But the minis that came in the kit that Cindy put together are the red and the blue. So it's going to be really nice when it's done. This little progress keeper is one by just Whitney Marie, who is a Black maker and designer, actually. One of the many progress keepers that I have that she has made. She is really creative. Let me show you this one. This one is a record player. Isn't that cute? So creative. And these things, I mean, I don't know how she makes some of these things. They're so small, but just so cute. I got this one because it reminds me of my son in a costume when he was a baby. Isn't it cute? I love them. So you have to check out just Whitney Marie, and she'll be linked below. So those are the only two whips that I am currently working on. I still have my cart of whips back here. I was talking to my daughter because I was telling her that I wanted to make an autumn alpine sweater for myself at some point. But I have a couple of sweaters back here that I need to finish before I do that. So I'm committed to finishing them before I start a sweater for myself. And I've been promising my brother a sweater for like 2 years, and I've got the yarn, I've got the pattern. I am going to make him this for Fox's sake. I can't wait to make this sweater because I think it's just really cute. And the name of it is funny, but this is Maxim Sear. And I just like it. So this has been on my list for a long time. I think my brother will see the humor in that. So I have the yarn for it. I just need to get to it. So when I finish my daughter's sweater, I'm going to start my brother's sweater. And I'm also going to pull out, I have in the light brown project bag there, I have a sweater that's by Andrea Mowry, the Shifty, that I've been working on for a while. It's got yarn that was a collaboration between Lola Bean Yarn Co. and Magpie Fibers. Some really nice yarn and some really nice colorways that I'm using for that project. So I really want to get that done so I can wear it, because it's MCN yarn. So it's merino, cashmere, nylon. So it feels really, really nice. So I want to be able to wear it. So that's going to be the next thing on my whip list. I'll also work on some of the smaller ones. I've got a couple of pair of like socks that I can finish really quickly. I just need to pull them out. So those are some things that are on my like to-do list in terms of projects. And I'll talk more about some to-do projects because I've got some yarn for another sweater I want to make for myself. So let's talk about Ujamaa, or cooperative economics. These are things that I have purchased. Well, one of the things I purchased before the last podcast, and it came like right after that episode. So I left it in the bag so I could show it. But I wanted to start with showing some pins, because this is another way that you can enter the Black History Month make along, because knitters and crocheters love to have pins to put on their bags, or just to wear. And so there's a really awesome company called Rebellious Pins. It's owned by a Black woman. And she makes the best, highest quality pins that that I have seen. They're a good weight. They have the oftentimes they have the higher quality backs so that they stay on really well. And the subject of the pins are just really speak to me. So she had some pins. I didn't bring one down because it's actually on a jacket that I was wearing this week. I've been wearing all things Black History this month, so I've got on my February Still Black History Month t-shirt. But she had some pins that say 92%. Which is a reference to the fact that 92% of Black women voted for Kamala Harris in the last election. As just a reminder that when you hear from Black women, you should pay attention, because Black women know what's up. And if we had all followed the lead of Black women in the last election, we would not be in our current situation, fighting fascism in the United States of this America. So I've been wearing that a lot the last month. So I bought a bunch of those to give to other Black women. As a little Black History Month gift, and just to remind them that I see them, and I love them. So I bought a bunch of those, but I bought a couple of others that I want to share. So we've been talking about being woke. This is just a reminder to stay that way. Stay woke. Don't believe the okie doke. All right, isn't that cool? And you can see those are those better backs. So they're not metal, they're plastic, like a plasticky, rubbery kind of material. And these grip much better than the metal ones. They don't wear out either. So I love those kinds of backs. And I get this one because I'm always saying that's some bullshiggity. So I got this. I just think it's funny. So love that one. And again, it's got the nice backs on there. So if you haven't checked out Rebellious Pins, please do. Some great pins there that they have. And then I mentioned that I'm a big fan of For You. You've heard me say that before, the Black-owned yarn shop in Oberlin. And I had made a purchase, and like I said, it came right after the last episode, and I promised that I would show it. So I bought this yarn to make the Dazzler sweater. That's a pattern by Jennifer Berg, who is an Indigenous designer. And I will link the pattern below. I have had it for quite some time and have wanted to make it for a long time. So I will start that project when I am done with a couple of these sweater whips that I already have on the needles. But I wanted to show the yarn. Let me just pull up the bag here. So yes, I did buy a sweater's quantity because that's what I need. So it's a main color and a contrast color. The sweater is a yoke design, much like the Autumn Alpine sweater. So it has, this is the contrast color. This is Spin Cycle Yarns Dream State. This is beautiful. And this colorway is called Straw Flower. Really, really pretty. So I got 3 skeins of that. And then I got 4 skeins of the main color. It's Neighborhood Fiber Co., which is a Black-owned dyeing company out of Baltimore. And I love their yarn. They name all of their yarns after places in Baltimore. So this colorway is called Barkley. And this is their Studio Worsted. It's 100% organic merino. And y'all, organic yarn feels so good. So this is that color. It's kind of a rusty kind of color. It's showing more brown than rust, but it's really definitely more rust. So these two together, I think that'll be really nice. So I am really excited about getting started on that after I get some of these other things done. So yeah, that's what I have. I don't have anything else at this time. So thanks for watching, and get your cast-ons started for the Black History Make-Along so you can get a prize. Because I will be, I'll end up drawing names on March 2nd. Because like I said, I'm going to give people until March 1st to get their entries in. Yeah, so get those in. And in the meantime, I will see you on Instagram and on the Discord and on the Ravelry chat. So until then, Asante Sana, which is thanks and see you later.